Well, the sun is still shining here in the UK, so I'm heading out of the seaside town of Bournemouth for a little overnight adventure. I'd escape the increasingly busier town with some lesser known secret trails out of Bournemouth and make my way down to the River Stour, where for a great majority of the year it's flooded and muddy, but when the sun has been shining for a few weeks like it has been, it's a good little shortcut away from the traffic. As I'm using the gravel bike today, I had a plan of hitting all the dried up gravelly goodness around the area. Good thing about around these parts, there is plenty of just that, if you know where to look. The Castleman Trailway follows much of the old Southampton to Dorchester railway line. The trailway takes you through some of East Dorset's stunning landscape while also connecting a string of settlements between Ringwood and Poole. The trailway is named after Charles Castleman, a Wimborne solicitor who was responsible for building the original railway line and the first to connect Dorset to the wider rail network. I wouldn't be on it for long as I was heading into the forest tracks for some shade and relief from this relentless sun. But not before a little playtime. After I had pedalled my way through all the endless gravel tracks around these parts, it was time to leave the trees behind and start heading out into the open. And that meant one thing today, time to suffer in this heat, as I was heading into Wiltshire and the Cranbourne Chase, known for the open rolling countryside where the trails start to get a little more lumpy.
Hitting the climb, so must mean we're getting into Wiltshire, but some beautiful gravel to get out of Dorset. I think once I get to the top of this climb I'm gonna have to stop and get some sun cream on there. I'll really try and not get burnt. Although it is really hot out here, there is quite a nice breeze, which is making it manageable for me, which is good. But coming through Dorset, there's lots of trees, lots of cover, but as I head into Wiltshire, not so much. So stay protected, guys. And remember, stay hydrated.
Dusty white chalk tracks, perfect for the gravel bike. Well, mostly perfect. Some of these tracks might have been touched by Romans, that would be my guess. And all that rough cobbled chalk tracks seemed to take its toll on my top tube bag, breaking the elastic strap, so a trailside fix was needed. The only way I could get it back on the bike though was to mount it backwards. Wouldn't be a bikepacking adventure without breaking something. And you know what else it wouldn't be a bikepacking adventure without?
Overgrown bridleways, we meet again. Ow. Hold on, Albert, hold on. Alright, back we go. Ow. So that's where the trail technically goes, but I think it might be possible just to skirt around the side of this field and hopefully be able to get back on the trail. We'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So far so good. I'm meant to be down there. I think this is where, I'm not sure. This is the problem bit. Okay, it kind of goes around here, so might be able to continue following. Ah, no. I'm meant to be over there. Ah. Oh, I can't get through. So back to the road I go. Oh well. Don't think it matters too much because I think I crossed the road anyway by the looks of it. Right, I'm gonna get back on track and I'm gonna stop for a bite to eat because it's just getting hotter and hotter, and now my legs are stung to shit.
By the time I had got back to the road, things were really heating up. The 3 PM sun was sapping my energy today, so it was time to take shelter again, this time to eat some juicy tomatoes. Riding through the woods today was perfect, but the tree cover is short-lived around the rolling countryside of Wiltshire. However, I could see in the distance my next target for some shade. Grovey Wood is one of the largest woodlands in southern Wiltshire, and running straight through the middle of this woods, it's beautiful old Roman road, traversed for over 2,000 years by this point. It's a really beautiful place to stop and just take it all in. With about 50 miles in the legs now though, I'd be turning right and descending down to the famous nearby town, Ssbury, with its prominent Anglican cathedral, including the tallest church spire in the UK, built over a relatively short period of time, 38 years between 1220 and 1258. As the day was now getting on, it was time to start heading back south towards the New Forest, which is where I had planned to sleep tonight. So a few more climbs under the relentless sun, dusty gravel tracks, and the last of the extremely bright white chalk trails, I'd arrive at a little village called Downton to stock up on a few supplies. Before getting the world's slowest draft and on towards the New Forest, where finally the air was cooling, the sun getting lower in the sky, and I could set up the tent ready for a quiet night under the stars. With how hot it was yesterday, waking up early in a cool mist felt amazing on the skin. And by the time I was packing up the tent, ready to start making my way across the New Forest and back to Bournemouth, the sun was shining through the trees. Leaving my camp spot behind, the New Forest was as beautiful as ever, the morning sun shining and a low mist surrounding me. But more importantly, it was cool and refreshing. A quiet early ride through the New Forest meant I had the place to myself. Beating the traffic and heading back to my start point, I'd make my way through the last of the gravel tracks and in to Christchurch, and with that meant one thing: getting my first glimpse of the harbour and the sea at Hangersbury Head. Layers of sands, gravel and clays that make up Hangersbury Head were formed around 65 million years ago beneath a warm tropical sea. This was the beginning of a very unstable period. Movements in the earth crust created the Alps, and in southern England the land's surface was gently folded. Temperatures and sea levels fluctuated widely. Tropical seas gave way to warm lagoons and then extreme cold as a series of ice age crippled the land. As I had started so early this morning, I was happily beating the crowds. I'd make my way along the promenade for what is the best way to finish any adventure: an early morning swim in the sea.